Hello, welcome to the Alt Dab podcast. With me is Azza. How you doing, mate?
How's it going? I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm Nick, as usual. We're here today to discuss E3.
We are. We're here to reflect on the excitement and the things and the stuff of V3 because we did last time we were on the airwaves we were talking about stuff we were excited about, and now it's
Yeah,
all the dust is settled.
all the leaks and all that have now come to pass, and it was a pretty good E3. It's honestly, even with Sony not being involved, it's good. I'm looking forward to next year.
There is stuff to be hyped about, but before we get into
All
that,
right.
before we get into that, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Today, I've been playing a ton of Crash Team Racing and a ton of Moonlighter because I went ahead and I got the Xbox Game Pass for that £1 deal for
Oh,
the
you
first
did
month.
it.
Like you
You
suggested.
committed.
Yeah, I committed. I did it, and it's nice. The app for PC is really buggy, like it crashes all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once you've got a game installed, it just launches just fine. It's good, pretty solid.
Yeah, the only problem I found with it, while we're talking about it, with that app, is I have this really weird issue with it, and I don't know if you've had the same, but if I look at the genres and stuff like that, and I like select all games, or like
Yes.
anything like that, it's like, oh, sorry, can't connect, can't show this, and then it
Yeah.
just bombs out.
Mine just says like, yeah, restart.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, restart.
Okay, well, I'm glad that's not just me, but
Yeah,
but it's exciting. I mean, as a PC gamer and stuff, to have Game Pass, so.
yeah. I'm almost considering getting an Xbox, but obviously Project Scarlet's been announced,
Yeah,
so
we'll dive into that in a sec. But
yeah.
that was a thing. That was a thing at E3. So, so what you've
What have
all,
you been up to?
what have I been up to? I have been playing. I mentioned it last time that we were talking. I was playing Warhammer Chaosbane, and I've made it
Yeah.
about. I'm into Act 3 now, I think, which I think is the final act. I'm not entirely sure, but the
This is
way
the like dungeon crawly kind of.
the Dungeon Crawler Warhammer game. Yeah,
Yes,
they
that
come out a
one.
couple
Yeah,
of weeks back. Yeah, so obviously we both had download in between the recording sessions. So haven't had a whole bunch of time to play. I don't think I've even played anything this week at all. I'm not gonna lie. It was more last week pre-festival.
for
Um,
those of our listeners who don't know, Download is a heavy metal music festival. Takes
yeah,
place every June in the UK, and it's 5 days of camping in mud and headbanging.
it's certainly full of mud. I fell over in that mud too many times to care for. Like
Yeah,
it was so bad. I kept falling in mud. I had shit all over
yeah.
me. Yeah, but I still had a
It's
swell
a
day. So
it's a mix of a music festival with all the music and drinking and good fun and a survival exercise.
oh yeah, more so for you because you camped for 5 days. I literally like had the glory of turning up for a day and then going back to my hotel room and having a nice warm shower in
Yeah,
my
I hate you.
in my ensuite. So yeah, I can't complain too much this year.
But
Anyway,
yeah.
I
Anyway,
dig-
go on.
I digress. Yeah, no, Chaos Bane, really fucking good actually. Like the boss battles on that game are like seriously fucking good. Um, like actually are a challenge. I felt like the first time playing Diablo 3 through, um, I felt like nothing was too much of a struggle. As much as there
Honestly,
was,
Diablo 3 really pisses me off. Just how you start, you have to unlock the actual worth playing difficulty settings. You have to complete the game, and you've seen all the content. You've had no challenge whatsoever. You've just kind of swept through everything. And then it's like, oh, do you want to start again and actually make the game good this time? No, fuck you.
no, no, exactly. I mean, to be fair, it is literally that with that, isn't it? Where you have a playthrough and you have a max level character, and you go back into another difficulty, and you're like, okay, it's gonna be tougher this time. And it's like, well, actually, it's pretty much the same as last time, except I have some cooler shit this time round.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Whereas Chaos Bane, like the first boss in that game, me and my friend legitimately, I won't say struggled, not struggled in the sense of Like we were stuck on it for hours or anything. But the first go around of it, we got wiped, and we were like, "Fuck!" Like that was harder than we expected, and
Hmm.
that doesn't often happen these days, unless it's
Yeah,
like a
usually
Souls
they
like or
let you
something.
cakewalk things. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which
Yeah.
is which, but actually that brings me back to something about Crash Team Racing. So I completely forgot to actually go into that. But Crash Team Racing is really damn hard. Some of the bosses are just a joke.
Yeah.
They and you're like it's such a piss take because you can be 0.2 millisecond, like 2 milliseconds behind them, and you're just like, fuck, man, I was so close, and you'll be on it for like hours, just same race over and
So
over and over again.
so explain to me, right? Because I legit haven't played Crash Team Racing probably since like 1998 or whenever it was that it actually originally came out on PS1. And even then, I think my friend had a copy of it. I'd never owned it myself. So like whenever I did play it, it wasn't playing the story mode. So do you have? So what is it? How do bosses work on that?
So basically, the game has an overworld where you
Right.
drive around and you unlock racetracks. So you complete races to unlock the next tier of races. And if you've defeated all the races in the area, you unlock a boss race, which has a specific character that you face off against mano a mano, and rather than the usual race format, which is like 8 characters.
Right.
And they always have a mechanic. So one of them, for example, just if you're behind them, they are perpetually dropping TNT boxes every like 3 seconds.
Oh
They'll drop one.
Jesus.
So you're not only trying to race and beat that character, but you're also having to constantly if you fall behind, you're punished for it. So
Right. Okay.
it's quite difficult.
So that sounds
Um,
pretty fucking brutal. I mean, Mario Kart, like in comparison of like the whole karting genre, is very much like that in the sense of like you'll be like, oh, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, and then like you'll fucking all of a sudden like someone will hit you with a blue shell and you'll be eighth place, and you're like,
yes.
okay, great, you've just fucked this whole
Well,
tournament up for me.
they had to rebalance Mario Kart because the catch-up mechanics were too strong, and it
Mm,
actually made it a disadvantage to get out in first. You wanted to
yeah.
actually sit in like second or third, but close to the lead for as long as possible. They had to rebalance that, retool it. Crash Team Racing is much better balanced. The mechanics are much sounder. There's a whole drifting mechanic with Crash Team Racing.
Okay, is that like the Mario one where you sort of drift and then you get a little boost at the end of it, or?
Sort of. You drift, but then you have to activate the boost periodically, and if you get 3 in a row perfectly timed, then you get a longer boost at the end of it. But you
Right.
know, the AI are doing this around corners, so you have to be doing it as well,
Oh,
and
okay. Yep.
you have to be taking your corners in exactly the right positioning to be able to make your drift, and your boosts pull you into the right position by the end of the corner. It's a much bigger challenge than Mario Kart, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got it. Me and a friend of mine used Xbox Game Share, so I've got it. I've installed it. I've just not had a chance to play it yet. I mean, obviously, it only came out yesterday.
Yeah.
And then in between, then I've been very busy boy, aka I went to see Toy Story, and then I went to get very drunk. So haven't had a chance to play it yet. So I'm back to my old ways this week. I felt like after last time where I didn't get drunk, and you did, I was like, this is not acceptable. So
Yeah, we trade off
I've
responsibility.
had to fucking rein that shit in and then fix that this week. So yeah, cool. So that's what we've been playing, guys. That's we've actually been playing some stuff. So go us.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
without further ado, let's jump into some E3 stuff.
Oh,
How do
God.
you want to do this? Shall we go through this conference by conference, or shall we just hit highlights?
I think we should just hit highlights. So as much as we're discussing context on the air, but fuck it. Yeah, no, I think we should discuss highlights. I don't know about you. I'm just gonna fire us off now. I don't know about you. I mean, E3 was good, and there was a lot to be excited about. But I can't say it was a year of like where it was like, okay, one conference won the week of E3. There was nothing like that this year.
Absolutely, but it also seems like there's we've been discussing the breakdown of the console war kind of structure with the industry.
Mhm.
So I don't think they were going out there to win it. I think they were going out there just to be like, we've got a lot on the horizon. Um,
Yeah.
when Sony comes in next year, announces their next console, then you've got that competition kind of heating up. I'm sure we'll see an E3 like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
But
next year will be where it is like that. It is going to be a full balls to the wall. Who's got the better machine? Who's got the better launch lineup? Who's got the better launch price, etc., etc. But obviously this
yeah,
year,
who's got the right policies? Who's got backwards compatibility? All that good shit.
yeah,
But yeah, this year was definitely just more of like, look at our shinies.
yeah, it was very much more of a year of the games. And interestingly, this has been a topic of discussion for me for I'm going to be writing for a website soon, and
Oh,
I did a little bit of writing about this actually this past week, just discussing the fact around the response that I've seen around E3 and how the response of E3 is very much like, okay, well, you didn't show us any machines, you didn't show us anything, balls to the wall like uh, unknown games or anything like that. It was all very much stuff that we knew was coming,
yeah,
and stuff that it's just like, okay, well, here's a lot of games and stuff like that. So my argument is a lot of viewer response to the conference was much like, okay, well, you didn't show us anything like that, and you didn't show us anything really new, so E3 wasn't that great this year. But like the counter to that is, well, actually E3 showed a lot of great shit. And that
yeah,
why do every year when we have an E3? I think there's this whole bubble around E3 where every year we expect to see a new console, we expect to see new games, we expect to see I don't know, some breakthrough revolution in video games content and stuff like that. Whereas really it doesn't need to be that. Like there's no need for ET. ET doesn't need to phone home every year. But E3 every year doesn't need to necessarily have like these monumental explosion moments where it's like, oh my god, there's a new PS Vita or something like that, Like
there were a handful of mini moments that I would definitely point to, like the Halo Infinite, trailer.
yeah,
The Luigi's Mansion 3 from Nintendo, because Luigi's Mansion, you've been a Nintendo fan for years, is like
yes.
incredible. It's one
Oh,
of the
dude,
best Nintendo games.
it was one of my exactly. It was one of my highlights of the week. Um,
Yeah, so excited for that.
Oh, massively so. And obviously, and again, like with Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever the hell it's going to be called, you know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't
the
show
sequel
much,
to
but
that.
just knowing that's on the horizon is just fucking great. Um,
Yeah,
and where as gamers do we stop the point where we just stop getting excited for new games? Do you know what I mean? Whether they're like games that we're already aware are in development or not, like it doesn't
there
matter.
there is an argument that like right now the industry is oversaturated.
Yeah,
So for me it's really good with Nintendo, these first party stuff like Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, Breath of the Wild 2. Those three announcements are very much quality over quantity announcements.
hmm,
They're all
agreed.
going to be fan favorites. Um, the also Pokemon Sword and Shield. Sorry, I forgot that one. There's some games that I'm actually was hyped about a few years ago, but having seen them at E3, I'm like, I'm not sure. Final Fantasy VII, for example, looks cool. Definitely looks like they've fixed the combat because I can't abide by turn-based shit.
Yeah.
But at the same
We're way
time,
past that as like a group of fucking people. Like turn-based combat is just like that's just too old hat now. Like it's too
yeah,
you know.
but I like how they pay homage to it.
Yes.
Homage to it. They keep it as part the ATB bar as part of the real time mechanics, and they all the abilities are still in the game, but they're just functioning in a real time flow.
Yeah, and it's just you don't have that slowdown. I mean, how much of a slog was it on the old Final Fantasy games? Where you just be run along and you have to have this fucking boring ass fucking fight against mobs you didn't fucking care about. And
Oh yeah, I was talking with a friend about it, and I was like, if I see one more of these goddamn cactuses, and then like, suddenly you get hit with a random event, and you're just like, I just want to walk from A to B
yeah,
without having to like spam spam the fucking A button
yeah,
through or X
literally just
button
like
through.
attack, attack, attack. Okay, done.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah,
but yeah, right. So while we're on this topic of this, okay, because now you've mentioned it, we might as well fucking dive into this, because I think this, out of it all of E3, this is the game for me where I just came out asking the most questions, because obviously we've known this has been coming for a long time now.
Yes.
And this is the first time in a long time where they've gone, okay, so this is the game, here's some content, this is a release date. Okay, great. But it's still episodic. There's no structure to what the episodes are. And apparently this first game is over 2 Blu-ray discs, and it's only the first section of the game. Of the original game.
It only covers Midgard.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
with that, but you can also see in the trailer, some of the events that are happening are also, they've been rewritten and restaged. So I'm wondering if there's actually going to just be way more content in that part of the game.
Yeah, I get that perspective, but Midgard is probably I don't know. I don't want to put a time on it, but let's say it's 10% of the original game, right? As a section.
Yeah, maybe about 10%. I'd say it's like 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about 10% of the original game. So this is going to come out on PlayStation 4 next. Is it March? Final Fantasy's out. Is it March? I want to say it's March.
I'm not sure.
We'll double check the date before we come off. But anyway, it's out around, like, it's the beginning of next year anyway. So
3rd of March 2020.
It is March. Oh, see, look, I do remember things sometimes.
If I remember correctly, a bunch of stuff's coming out in March. It's going to be a really saturated March like coming up.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of months. I'm pretty sure like this November is a really oversaturated month. But yeah, no, just go back to Final Fantasy real quick. So obviously that's going to come out in March, and then probably say October, November of next year we're going to have PlayStation 5, which is apparently going to be backwards compatible, which is great. So Episode 2, or whatever the hell you want to call it, Final Fantasy 7 2, or whatever, is going to come out on PlayStation 4, or is it going to come out on PlayStation 5, or is it going to come out on both? Or
I think it'll come out on both. I think they last console generation they did it. Breath of the Wild launched for the Wii U and the Switch. Last of Us launched for the PS3 and the PS4. It's not super insane to imagine they'll do the same thing.
No, it's not insane to imagine, but it's more the question of, okay, so but if this is 10% of the original game, are we going to see this game span a console generation, and then we're going to see a generational leap in potential of graphics and stuff like that as well in between all of this? It's just questions like that where I'm like, okay, so when are we getting the next episode? What's the next episode going to be on? Is the next episode going to have two editions? Is the next episode going to look better graphically? Like, it just feels a bit confusing. And it worries.
We'll have to wait and find out.
We will, but it just worries me just looking at things like the Half-Life episodic series that sort of fell flat. I mean, obviously, I know they're entirely different companies, entirely different games, entirely different, stuff like that. But it's just like, is it a little bit too ambitious? Maybe, potentially, but we shall see.
Yeah, indeed, we shall.
We shall.
What else was good? Obviously, Cyberpunk. That was a big.
Yep, literally, that's the next thing off my tongue. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we both probably can agree that stole the show in terms of hype, potentially.
Oh, absolutely. I think bringing out Keanu Reeves, sticking him at the end of the trailer, was a master stroke.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair play to CD Projekt Red, because that is not a crossover. That's not some actor just appearing in a game just for the sake of it, like a Conor McGregor in like Call of Duty or something like that. Like, Keanu Reeves apparently has more dialogue in that game than any other character apart from your main protagonist.
So the character he's playing is actually a character from the original tabletop RPG.
Oh, okay.
So he's a canonized character from the original that has been like updated to fit 2077. So
cool.
He's got a rich lore behind him. They really haven't just given him any old bum for the face value.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's pretty cool. Then I didn't realize it was like an actual canon character
Yeah,
that they would
Johnny
like.
Silverhand, I think.
Right. Okay. I mean, I know nothing about like the original tabletop game at all. Um,
I've never
so
played it myself. I really want to. I think that could be fun.
I mean, that would be cool before the game comes out to sort of give
Yeah.
that a look potentially. But yeah, I mean, in terms of hype out of the weekend, that's the one that everybody was really talking about. I mean, like you say, Keanu coming out on stage was an
Yeah.
absolute stroke of genius by them guys.
You're breathtaking.
That was the most fucking great, like, just, on the off
The
the
most,
cuff moment.
just such a wholesome heckler as well.
Yeah, yeah. Like, fucking, it's breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. Okay.
You're all
You're all
breathtaking.
breathtaking. No, like,
Yeah,
that's
the audience,
so fucking cool.
the audience reacted to that really well. But yeah, the game itself looks brilliant. The last trailer we got for that was more gameplay, and I preferred that one. The
Yeah,
one that came out last year, because it was, obviously there's, some nudity in it, so I had to wait till I got home from work to watch it, which kind of sucked.
yeah,
But it showed you like there was more of an understanding and a walkthrough about like this is how the game's going to flow. Whereas this one was just like a little cinematic thing.
yeah. I feel
Uh,
like because of the amount of like footage they showed last year, like that gave you the gist of it. Like whatever they could have shown this year would have just been more of the same.
yeah,
Because it was like
exactly.
20 minutes last year or whatever it was that they released. So, whereas now it's just like, here's a bit of background to the story, here's Keanu Reeves. I mean, they did release some gameplay footage as well, but that was a chunk of that was just what we saw last year anyway. Um,
Yeah,
so, I mean, what I'd seen from just people who were actually attending E3 and actually had the luxury of being able to play the game and play the latest build that they had there this year were saying I think Greg Miller from Kind of Funny Games was saying like if this game is what is actually what they're showing us right now, like I don't see this not being a lot of people's favorite game of all time because of just
right.
the sheer volume of stuff that you can do and just how it all flows together. Um,
Yeah, I'm hoping it's like it feels really open
I was gonna
and
say
like
it sounds and looks mega revolutionary. So
well, The Witcher 3, was mega revolutionary. It was actually like it made open world work because there are so many games that are open world just for the sake of it,
yeah,
and there's no
absolutely.
real reason for them to be open world games. The open world is really just a backdrop. Whereas The Witcher 3, you're really exploring it and finding stuff in the same way like old Fallout, Fallout 3 definitely felt that way, and New Vegas felt that way,
Yeah.
or Stalker, those kinds of games. Whereas Watch Dogs doesn't feel that way. Spider-Man, while fun, doesn't feel that way. Like the city just kind of
No,
is about.
the end of the day, the city in that game is literally just a sandbox for you to swing around in. And you go
Yeah,
mission to mission. The exploration of the city itself isn't anywhere near to the depth of like The Witcher or anything like that. So,
yeah,
no, I totally agree. So, I mean, obviously, if it's that in depth, and the thing I kept seeing as well is about loading screens in Cyberpunk as well, and the sheer lack of loading, and the fact that you can just traverse all this area and go like
yeah.
into buildings and stuff, and there's just no loading. You just waltz into a club or something like that, and that's it. It's just all already loaded, ready for you to go in.
Which is pretty mental.
Yeah,
It's a very impressive tech. I mean, much to do with the suffering of employees. CD Projekt
yeah.
Red has been called out for having some of the most egregious disregard for their workers and almost perpetual crunch. So, I mean, it's one of those difficult things where ethically, um, I'm like, that's fucking shit. I don't really want to support that. But simultaneously, nobody is putting out games like this.
No, exactly. And to be fair to those people who are working those hours and stuff like that, like they still want you to play their fucking game. Like,
Yeah.
as much as it fucking sucks, at the end of the day, imagine if like people did just turn their back on their game. You know,
Mm,
they've worked all that time for nothing. So their game being a success obviously must for these people who are doing that. Like just as someone who works um, in software development and stuff like that, uh,
yeah.
you must take pride in your work. And if you weren't happy in those conditions, you just wouldn't stay. Like there is plenty of opportunities out there. Maybe not in games potentially, but in software development in general. As a dev, like game devs could work as a dev pretty much in any aspect of like software development, pretty much. So,
not true. So devs covers like an insane range of job roles.
oh, it does. But like once you have that
And
that
especially
understanding,
well, if you watch there's a YouTube channel called No Clip that does fantastic gaming documentaries, and one of them is on the creation of The Witcher 3 with CD Projekt Red. And the way that they structure their approach is actually rather organic. So they essentially get the world built, and they have people, roaming through it. They actually are live playing their own game, and if they find a little corner and they just feel this area of the map is dead, then they might put in a ticket to the writing team to find out what's going on in this area, if anything could be put in that area. And then one of the writing staff might pick up that ticket and decide to write a bit of lore for it and set a village there and what kind of quests are going to go down. They'll throw over to the art team to throw in a village over there, and it's this very organic throwing around of responsibilities, and everybody's kind of finding stuff to do, which is super disorganized, and probably why there's so much perpetual crunch.
Yeah.
Because it's you're expected to create your own work essentially. I obviously can't vouch for that being the case on Cyberpunk, but supposedly the way it worked with Witcher 3. But these devs, they are writers, they are artists. They may not ever touch code. The most they might touch any amount of code is they might have a proprietary toolkit of like pull-in triggers that they can throw into the level to set up some rudimentary event.
Yeah. No, so
I'd say 80% of gameplay staff of staff that are game devs, quote unquote, have nothing to do with programming and software.
Yeah, that's but more what I was getting at was the point of like these guys surely don't need to stay with CD Projekt Red. Like surely they could go elsewhere. Like there must be a reason these people would stick around and work those hours.
Yeah, a lot of game companies capitalize on passion.
Yeah, exactly.
Blizzard has been accused of this as well. Blizzard are notorious for actually paying substandard wages in the industry, despite being incredibly big and having all of the money. Because they know that people who apply for jobs at Blizzard are passionate about Blizzard.
They're fans of Blizzard games. Yeah, true. I guess it's a double-edged sword. What we're getting at here is that these people, they stick around for a reason, but then that's not necessarily something that's not exploited by these companies to keep these people there. And
exactly.
This could be a meaty topic for another time. But yeah, anyway. So either way, the game looks fantastic. We're getting real into the depths of like the dark underbelly of the gaming business right now.
Let's put a pin in it. Maybe that can be our topic of discussion for next week. We can unearth some bodies in the gaming industry and
we'll call them out on their bullshit.
Yeah. Next episode, tune in, guys.
Yeah, there you go. You've got a topic for next week now. But either way, Cyberpunk looks fucking sublime. Keanu Reeves is in fucking Toy Story. How about that? So,
is he? Wait, what?
Yeah, he plays a character called Duke Kaboom, and he's easily the best character in Toy Story 4. Just saying. This has nothing to do with video games, but that dude is
crawling over
that
everything.
Dude's fucking everywhere. He's fucking everywhere. He's like, I'm John Wick, I'm in a fucking Toy Story movie, I'm in Cyberpunk, I do what I like. So
I'm in Fortnite, I'm in everything.
Yeah, oh yeah, God, I forgot they did the Fortnite thing. Oh.
Yeah.
So, as much as Cyberpunk was hype, and as much as Final Fantasy is hype, but you've got some question marks around it, what about the Avengers game?
I don't have interest in it, personally.
Have you seen the whole controversy around it, though?
No, I haven't. What's the controversy?
Well, it's more around probably just super fans of the Avengers and stuff like that. But obviously, I don't know if you've seen the character models for the Avengers.
Oh yeah, they don't look like the actors from the films.
Well, they don't look like the actors from the films, but they don't exactly look like good renditions of those characters either from the comic books.
Yeah, they definitely. I'm looking at a picture of Black Widow's character right now, and I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that looks like nothing like anybody.
Yeah, like if you just put that on a wall somewhere and was like, "Who's this character?" You wouldn't be like, "That's Black Widow from the Avengers." So
Yeah, yeah. If I didn't see the outfit, that it was just a headshot.
just a
I'd be
headshot.
like,
You'd be like, "Okay,
yeah,
that's Ginger Lady."
someone in the West Wing. I don't know. I didn't see that show.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know if you saw like they had like these real bad, real life versions of the armor and stuff that they made for the game, and they put it up at E3, and it looks just looks like shit. Like it,
Looks tacky.
yeah, looks tacky, and like even Iron Man's armor in the game and stuff looks pretty tacky. And there was a whole thing around like what the actual game is going to play like. There's some real uncertainty of like, okay, the game is co-op, but how much is actually co-op and what is solo? And then if I'm playing solo, do I get to pick my character or do we play as a character on a specific part of the game? Like there's some serious questions around this as well of like, you know, how the game actually pans out and like how much of it you can actually do with friends, because that was kind of a thing they were hyping. It's like, oh, okay, you can be the Avengers and play and
Yeah.
do it co-op, but then it's kind of like the fallout of E3 is just basically, okay, actually maybe not all of it is co-op.
Oh
So
no.
yeah,
Yeah, it does. It doesn't take me. I mean, I feel a
yeah,
bit vindicated, but not because I hate it for any reason, just because I wasn't interested in it to begin with. Um.
yeah,
Oh well. Oh well. Can't win them all.
yeah. No, you can't fucking win them all. No, no.
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say the next big game,
Yep.
Death Stranding.
Yes,
Death Stranding.
but that wasn't the.
Post-apocalyptic cable guy.
Did they fucking show you that at E3 though, or did I miss?
E3.
Yeah,
What? Yeah.
they did.
Death Stranding was at E3. Yeah. Did you not see that?
I thought it was like pre E3.
Was it?
I thought we talked about this last time.
E3 trailer.
Oh, well, either way, fucking yeah. Look, either way, yeah, please, I need it.
Oh no, you are right. It was released before E3. I'm getting muddled.
It's
But let's
fine.
talk about it anyway.
We'll talk about it anyway, because
briefly.
why not?
So that's obviously like probably the next big hype announcement from E3 was that, and it's kind of weird, and I'm not. It's actually made me less into it. I'm
Yeah,
still like excited to see it and to try it out and work out exactly what it is and what my full opinions are on it, obviously. But the first few trailers were so dark and macabre and weird and just original,
yeah,
and we were all wondering how they were going to pull it all together in a single game, and we're starting to see that, and it just unfortunately it looks too much like Metal Gear Solid to me. I was
yeah.
hoping for something more Silent Hill.
I really don't know what we're getting, like in the slightest. But I would agree with you that it does look very Metal Gear Solid, and even just the way that the trailers and stuff have been structured. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's just a Kojima thing, and the fact that he's just worked on Metal Gear Solid is the reason why. But even just the way the trailers and stuff are done, like it feels very Metal Gear Solid in general as well. Um,
As well, the naming of the characters as well, like Heartman.
yeah, yeah.
Can we try a bit harder, please? Just a little bit.
But
Uh,
again, that like just
I'm
that just
nitpicking. I'm nitpicking.
yeah, but you're not, because like at the same time that just screams like you hear that character name in a Metal Gear Solid game. It's
Yeah.
like I
Yeah, yeah.
understand it's the same guy, but what's stopping him from like using his creativity to sort of get away from that and make something else completely unique, rather than sort
Yeah.
of harkening back to his prior prior games that he's made.
I mean, it does seem like he has like a quote unquote, auteur style that he wants to keep running through all of these games. But I just hope that it doesn't, yeah, as you say, restrict him and essentially, have him just trying to kick off his new series to sort of say fuck off to Konami. Be like, I'm gonna go make my own Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, like fuck you,
with
I don't need a name.
Death Realms.
Yeah.
And Guillermo del Toro.
Who doesn't have his own voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just his face, but they'll do. But no, that is kind of what it feels like, though. I totally agree. I mean, when the game comes out, it might be nothing like that. I mean, we literally have not seen enough gameplay to even fucking judge what this game really truly is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I agree though. Like, I'm just a bit lost with it all, but I'm still excited. I'm still excited. I'm still optimistic.
Do you know what trailer massively disappointed me?
Which one was that?
And I just got zero hype from
What?
Halo Infinite.
Okay, right. I'm the
It
wrong
just felt
person for this
really
because
flat.
I'm the wrong person for this because I am a fucking huge mark for fucking Halo in general. But I would agree with you in the sense of I can understand as someone who's not probably that huge into Halo, um, is that there was no hype. The only reason I got hype from it was just because it is literally simply because it's the Chief, and it's like the questions of like, okay, what is this ring? Why is it destroyed? Cortana's still lost. So Cortana's still lost. That's great. So why is he in a fucking another whatever that bit is that he was in at the end, the control room. That's it. He's in another control
Yeah.
room on Halo. Like, I mean, I know it's meant to be like a soft reboot. I mean, it kind of screams that because of that trailer really does scream like, okay, we're really going back to basics, and you're on a Halo ring and blah 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 blah. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it doesn't really show a lot, does it? I mean, obviously the whole chunk of the first big chunk of that trailer was literally just some random dude on a fucking ship. You know, that
Yeah,
could have
and
been.
I'm comparing it to my own hype when I was into Halo, which was Halo 3.
Yeah,
So the beginning of Halo 3, they had those two shorts that were directed by Neil Blomkamp, the guy who did District 9.
yeah,
And they were all about just like the ground team live action. There were a two-part live action short about the ground team just attempting to get a device in position to track the re-entry of Master Chief as he hurtles towards the planet.
yeah,
And like half of them get wiped out in really bloody, gory ways. And it really sold this as like, you are the last best hope of mankind. And then you kick off Halo 3, you're hurtling down from space and your suit's locked up.
yeah,
And then you're straight into the gameplay and you're like, fuck man, that's responsibility. I feel responsible for the deaths of those characters in the live action
yeah.
short. That was so much hype. By the way, when that came out, me and a friend of mine, Chris, played through it in a single sitting. We went to the midnight launch. We got home. We played through the whole game and watched all of the extra special features, everything. And when we came out of my room at the end of it all, it took us a while for our brains to adjust to the fact that Halo wasn't a real thing.
Yeah.
We were that immersed in it. So yeah, I'm watching this and I'm just like, okay, we got some asshole stuck in space. He finds the Chief, boots him up, and then the Chief ejects half his shit into space.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And it's like, we've got to fight. And it's like, okay.
Okay. I feel
what...
like they've rested on their laurels a little bit on that, of like, past things of like finished the fight and stuff like that, and like, oh, we got to fight. Okay, but why are we fighting again? Like, what now?
Yeah, and it's also the lore with it is so convoluted at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the way sort of 5 went, I mean, 4 was good, but the way 5 went and basically, if you played 5, or you're aware of like how 5 panned out. So
I'm aware that of how it panned out. I watched Forward Unto Dawn and I read up on what happens in 5.
Yeah. So essentially, obviously, Cortana goes fucking nuts, and she's basically the big bad come the end of like Halo 5. So then coming into this and in this trailer, obviously you hear the voiceover from her being like, I picked you because you're lucky and blah blah, and he's got the chip that she used to be stored on. It's like, are we going to kind of ignore that going into this, and he's going to try and get her back still? Or, like, what the fuck's actually going on? It's a bit confusing.
And also, they've now brought the Forerunners into the story.
Yeah.
Who in the first 3 Halos were these great mysterious figures on the periphery of the lore.
Yeah.
And they were very fascinating to observe that way. And then Halo 5 just seemed to like shove them down your throat so hard and so fast.
Well, they did that in 4. I mean, 4 is where
4, sorry.
4 is where you meet them and the big God, and my mind is completely deceiving me tonight. The big boss dude, whatever his name is, I can't even remember.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
Um, but that just ruined it in a lot of ways for me because it was the veil being lifted. You know what I mean?
the Didax, that's what it's called. That was gonna fucking piss me
Yes.
off. Yeah, yeah. So he's in it, and he's like the leader of the Forerunners at this point, and even then, like you sort of fight him at the end of 4, and you kind of easily beat him, and you know. Like you say, it was nice having them as this like mythical force and not knowing who the Forerunners were. Like it should have been a more sort of organic unveiling of those across this new trilogy, rather than just being like, here they are, and they're fucking evil, and you're gonna fight them, and you're the
Yeah.
chief, and you kind of have these magic powers, so you can beat them. It's like okay, so
Yeah. Super
yeah,
weird.
so yeah, no, I get the lack of hype from you for it, but either way, it's a new Halo game, and it's going to kick off a new console generation. So, graphically
Yes.
though, that trailer, if that was all apparently in engine, so
Which is impressive, but for me the best graphics wise game I've played, where I felt like the in-engine stuff was just incredible, was Until Dawn. Have you played that?
yeah, yeah,
That looks fantastic compared to 90% of games.
yeah. Well, that's gonna start
And that's
changing
on
real
this
soon,
generation.
but yeah, no, I agree. That was crazy good looking. Um, I guess with that game though, that game had the luxury of being like, it didn't have a lot going on. It was just your character essentially on movie sets, so
Yes,
they could
yes.
render that and not have
They
to
could
use
really
any.
focus in,
Yeah,
and they didn't have a lot of background stuff they needed to worry about. They could just cull everything in
yeah,
one
that's
shot.
it. Literally, like, okay, our resources can be focused solely on this because nothing else is going on. And anytime anything did happen, you were kind of in a cutscene anyway. So
Yeah.
it was pre-rendered stuff anyway. Um,
So, speaking of pre-rendered and trailers I am super hyped about, Elden Ring. What did you think?
uh, I think I'm excited, but very much like the trailer for Shadows Die Twice, which ended up being called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Didn't really give a
Yeah.
lot, did it? You know,
Yeah, it has a lot of imagery to unravel,
yeah. I mean, that
like
was again. It was
cracks
literally,
going through people.
it was literally the same as, like I say, it's the same thing they did with Shadows Die Twice at the Game Awards when they first showed that trailer off, and
Well, that was no, it's way more than that. Come on now. The first trailer for Shadows Die Twice was a single shot of the arm of
yeah.
the and just like
Have I missed another trailer or something? For Elden Ring, I swear we got very much similar. Like, here's a couple of little snippets of stuff, and that's it.
it was a full trailer. It was, oh god, like 2 minutes long of shots of blacksmiths forging things, rings shattering, some woman attaching a prosthetic arm.
This is from
Uh,
the fucking the Microsoft conference, right, where they showed this off.
yes,
Was I fucking high and drunk or something when they fucking showed this off? I'm just skipping through it.
perhaps.
See, yeah,
It does have a
you got
shot.
spooky arms holding an arm. They've got a thing with fucking people having arms missing, clearly, from
Yeah,
software. Oh, yeah, you
all
got
of
the
those arms appear to belong to that guy in the middle of that shot.
yeah,
So
you got the
he's just a many
dude
arm
forging
dude.
shit, and then you got the big person with some shit coming out of him.
You've also got this recurring theme of people having cracks
Yeah,
running
the
through their
cracks
skin.
running through them, and obviously
A dude
missing
who's on fire.
arms for some
Yeah,
reason.
missing limbs, broken bodies, people on fire.
Okay,
It's
right. It shows you a little bit more than Shadows Die Twice, but the point I'm trying to make is that it literally doesn't show you anything at the same time, though. It kind of gives you these ideas to then put together. So,
oh yeah. So
um,
that's my jam. I didn't like Sekiro, but I am a sucker for the Dark Souls storytelling.
yeah.
Of having to archaeologically dig your way through lore. So I'm hyped.
So
I'm
obviously
looking
they're
forward to it.
saying this is going to be obviously like a full open world game and not necessarily based around one character either.
Yeah, which is super interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool to see them actually making. I mean, because the Souls games, they're kind of an open world game, right? They're
Uh,
semi.
they're Metroid.
I'd
They're
like.
Metroidvania. So they aren't open world in that they have multiple routes you can possibly take, but obviously intended routes. And over time, you open up the map so it can be easily traversed with verticality.
Yeah.
Um, and then it kind of becomes open world, but you're also just dodging areas that you don't want to have to deal with because you've done them already. It's not really. It doesn't really benefit from.
No,
I don't
exactly,
think,
but that's what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
class it
It's like
as
it's
open
not,
world.
not open world in the sense of Grand Theft Auto, but it's a semi-open world in the sense of like you've got a map that you can traverse and go where you like at any time. Um, but obviously this is going to be actually, I assume, like a Witcher GTA level of open world, from what they're
Yeah,
saying. Um, so that'd be really interesting from them, just to
yeah, absolutely.
see their spin on that, because
Mm.
obviously it's not something that they've actually really done before. So, like I said, we don't really know a lot. It's kind of, we just have to take it for granted of like, okay, it's a Souls-like in a world where I can probably get a horse and go run across a map. So, so that's something I can do.
Yeah, get on the medieval subway and fast travel to the other side of
So
the map.
I
That'd be
imagine I imagine this will be a 2020 game. Just throwing it out there.
Oh
That I
yeah, I
imagine
think
it'll be
so.
next year. I imagine I wouldn't be surprised at all. Speaking of the Game Awards, if we probably see something of it on it again, probably at the end of this year, around the time of the Game Awards, tends to be a good time
Mm.
to release trailers and stuff like that. So, because I can't see it happening any time before then. Now at this point,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I think we're
I
gonna
tell
have.
you what though, these guys they turn around some shit. Just
Yeah, they
saying.
really do.
I just
Absolutely.
You think like how much content they've actually pushed out over the last 5-6 years. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro,
Yeah, and
and
now
now
they're working on
this.
this. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's
Considering
nuts.
all those that not like none of those games are like by any means like fucking slapdash like
Oh
copy
no,
paste
they're all
jobs
high
at all.
quality products.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it's fucking crazy what they get out. Um, So yeah, no, that looks fucking good. Like I say, I don't really know what else to say on this one because mainly because
There's not enough
it's not.
information to really take apart. Yeah.
No,
Not
exactly.
unless you go on YouTube and you go find people like Vadividya who are like lore hounds and dissect
Yeah, and
everything.
they probably know everything, and it's probably actually technically Dark Souls 4 Elden Ring. So
Nah.
nah, probably not. I've got a question for you. Did you
Yeah, go on.
see? Did you see much about Watch Dogs Legion? We spoke about it last time
Yeah,
we
you can
recorded.
be a grandma.
That's all that matters. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can be a fucking grandma.
I've done a complete 180 on my opinion of it. Now I've known that I can play as an old
You
lady.
can play as an old lady who.
That's the kind of fantasy I want in my games. Is like an old woman who's had taken some, silver surfer computer class and just become a hacker out of it.
Exactly. Why the fuck not? And you can have a whole gang of grandmas if you like. So
Yeah.
looks fucking
I'm
nuts.
not sure. It looks nuts. That's exactly what it looks like. It looks fucking nuts. It looks like it's not taking itself seriously. And it looks like it's gonna be fun.
It's a
Like
complete departure from what they were doing with the first game, where it felt very serious and stuff like that.
oh god, and that
Um,
main character was such an obnoxious twat as well. In
yeah,
the first one, like they took him too seriously. They made him like, oh, I've got a tragic backstory, and we were like, no, you don't. You're just a dick. I don't want to play you.
just a hack of fucking dick, and your game sucks. So fuck you. Um,
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no. So obviously, what we were saying last time we spoke about it is that we were like, okay, can you play as anyone? And literally, you can. You can play as anyone. Um,
Yeah, the thumbnail I'm looking at right now for Watch Dogs has a pig with a monocle and a cigar
oh, I hope
in
I
a
can play
suit.
as him
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I didn't realize that was a valid NPC choice, but
because
sick.
that'd be lovely if we can be him. But yeah, no, the whole concept of it is pretty nuts. Of like you can just interact with an NPC and then go on a little mission with them, and then you recruit them to your group, and then if you die, you can then play as that character,
Yeah,
um,
sweet.
which is fucking pretty crazy. It, obviously it's coming out, so it's obviously a proven thing that they're going to be able to do it. It just sounds insane to me that they've even pulled this off. So
Yeah, well, I mean, it remains to be seen if they
yeah,
have.
yeah, very true. But
I'm looking forward to the potential that they have pulled it off. Because if they've done it well, if they've got like a hierarchical system within the org, and you've got NPCs you've got to put in roles and like train them up, and then when you die, it's like a roguelite mechanic.
yeah,
Well, that character's gone, their RPG stats are gone, but you've got these sub characters that are in the next tier of the org, and one of them's going to step up and become
yeah,
the
it'd be
main
cool if
character.
like you can have them leveling up, and then if you die as your character, whether you've leveled them up or unlocked shit with them, when you then unlock the other character, is they could be potentially ahead or not far behind where you are of your character and stuff like that.
Exactly, like a little bit like they inherit some aspects of that character, but they're also going to play differently.
Yeah,
Watching the old lady run like hobble up to people and taser them,
yeah,
I was like, sweet. It
exactly.
looks
Like
like she's
there
actually
is,
got a movement speed cap.
yeah, exactly. Like there is a distinct difference between this character to the character that I just played. And that'd
Yeah,
be interesting if it's like, I don't know, heavier characters and stuff like that. Maybe you could play as a fat dude and he can't run
yeah.
very quick and stuff like that, you
But
know?
he's got a mean haymaker. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. That would
Exactly.
be amazing. But we're at this point. This is entirely speculation. And
Oh,
we shouldn't.
complete speculation, but that is the potential of what they could be doing with the game. So
And it could be cool. It could be.
it could be
Definitely
cool.
sick.
I'll tell you one thing I did notice though, watching that trailer, instantly it was like, wow, this like graphically, this is not even as good as what they showed the original Watch Dogs to look like back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look like a bag of shit or anything like that, but it didn't look like absolutely out of this world graphically. But because of the other structures they've got in the game and stuff like that, I can understand it that maybe the graphics would take a little bit of a back seat, and that's not
Yeah.
necessarily a bad thing because at the end of the day, graphics aren't the be all and end all. If the game's fun and you can do all this wild shit, then that's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to get too hopeful, but it seems like there's been an industrial shift towards actually focusing on fun and not worrying so much about being cinematic and high rendered.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, if they can pull both off, then great. But if one's,
Yeah,
if the core game itself is going to suffer because we want to make something look pretty, then that shouldn't be the case. So,
exactly.
I mean, some games they pull it off and they can do both. Like Red Dead. Well, I don't think you're a huge fan of Red Dead Redemption, but I really enjoyed
No.
Red Dead Redemption too. And like the Uncharted series and stuff like that. Like they're beautiful looking games, and they are incredible to play as well. At the same time, like The Last of Us as well.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of those games, but that's because I think that they don't have enough meat on the bones gameplay wise, and they do the cinematic side of the experience to me takes away from the gameplay.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
that does make
Like,
sense. I get that. I can understand that. But I think that what I've just mentioned, I actually really enjoyed them still. I
yeah,
didn't feel like they were that bare bones, especially like the Uncharted series. Have you played those games or?
I played them briefly.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've never,
I
like,
can
bought
understand
them
maybe with Red
myself.
Dead more so than Uncharted. Red Dead, um, I mean, very much like any Rockstar game is very much like
You're along for the
your
ride.
person simulator for it. So,
Yeah.
no, I can get that. Uh, Jesus God, but there is a lot to break down, and we're like nearly an hour in here.
Oh Jesus! All right,
Um,
let's pick some highlights and just glaze over them really quick. Fallout 76 is introducing a battle royale mode that nobody asked for.
Fuck.
Um,
Did you
which
watch
is
that
just-
presentation?
Yes, I
just
did.
to jump into
I
this.
thought it was so stupid because they've said like we built a game about surviving in a wasteland where you can like fight and like scrap over the final resources for mankind, and everybody's ended up making a really friendly community where like people leave out like food and water for new players in the spawn zone. And they were kind of like, that's great. We have this really nice community. You know what we're going to introduce? A fucking battle royale mode. Kill each other, you bitches. Like, stop trying to survive and be nice to each other.
Stop this
Uh,
shit. Oh,
yeah,
do you
it
know
was
what
just-
fucking pissed me off about that fucking like fuck the battle royale mode? Fucking year late, and they're like, we're adding fucking NPCs. human
Yeah,
NPCs into the game.
I
Well,
didn't
fuck
realize
you.
NPCs weren't in the game
No, there was
until
no
they said that.
NPCs. Legit, I've played the game. Literally, everything in the game was basically off of like audio recordings and stuff like that. There was no one to fucking
Wow.
talk to. The world was fucking empty. It was a hollow shell. And now they're like a year later, we're adding NPCs. Like fuck you. Like honestly, just
Yeah.
fuck you. The fact that they're even, I guess there is enough people out there that are still playing this game, or at least giving it some, you know, small chunk of their
Yeah,
time where they're
they do
like,
have a community, and they
yeah,
are an active one. There are people who find value in the game, and the fact that the game is so wildly unpopular and difficult to get into is the reason why the community became so friendly and inviting to new players. And
yeah,
didn't want to kill each other the first time they saw anyone, because when they saw people, they were like, "Please join us."
yeah, please, please, I need reasons to play this fucking shit. Let's help each other out.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, it's just fucking disgusting. I think, to be honest, personally, I think
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy disgusting that they wow, I just nearly ate a daddy long legs. That was probably the worst moment of my life, and it's happened mid-recording.
Oh no.
Oh god, it literally just like cupped my lip.
Oh
Wow,
god, that's
it flew
disgusting.
straight at me. Why did it do that? What are you doing? Why are you even in my house? Oh god, that really broke my train of thought.
Sorry, man. I'm gonna take advantage of that breaking of the train of thought, and we're gonna talk about Doom and Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay, yeah, because fuck Fallout 76 is where I'm going to leave that
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order looks great. The combat looks
That-
exactly where I want it to be.
That is going to be one of your fucking definitions. I'm telling you now, as one of your games where it's more style over substance. Because those trailers, as much as it looked great, at the
Yeah.
same time, that looks like it could be a real hollow shell at the same time.
I agree, but it harkens back to some of the older Star Wars games,
It
which
does.
were RPGs.
Yes.
Where you had I can't remember the specific game, it was on the Xbox, but you had the dark side tree and the light side tree. So if you wanted the force powers to choke people, to throw your lightsaber, to shock people to death with force lightning, you had to go dark side on your alignment. And
Yeah.
if you wanted to, a kind of a less flashy play style, then you went light side. So you were almost like penalized, not penalized, but you had to. There were consequences to your decisions just in the RPG mechanics of it, and it reminds me of that. Whether or not that's going to be in the game is a whole other issue. It could be exactly like you say, like a narrative, cinematic based bollocks fucking storm. But I kind of hope that it's not. I'm hoping that it's got that older RPG feel to it.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I hope it's not like a Force Awakens 2 or anything like that. And, I mean, I saw people getting salty that you don't dismember people, but, like, whatever. I can live with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It still looks, to be fair, it looks great. I was hyped for it when watching the trailer. But at the same time, it'd be interesting to see how you level up and stuff like that. I think that would really
Yes, what's the
big
progression
factor.
system?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously they didn't really highlight anything like that, so it's difficult to say. But from what they did show, if it was just like that the whole way through, it's like, okay, this isn't really gonna suffice.
Yeah.
Especially
What
like
is-
now.
Yes, I agree. What is interesting to me though is that apparently there are rumors the story will be a tie-in to Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you see Sol. Is it Sol Guerrero? That character's called. Obviously
Yes.
played by I forgot his name.
Oh god.
That guy.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank as well.
Whatever. We're both googling. I can feel it.
Yeah.
How have I forgot his name? Oh God, I've had a few beers this evening. Forrest Whitaker. That's who it is.
Yes.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker is in the game. His character Saul Guerrero is back in. So yeah, I can imagine there's some sort of tie-in. It's going to be interesting that a Jedi exists. I mean, it might stretch over to the Rebels TV series potentially. There's all sorts of fucking stuff they could tie into.
Well, yeah, he was in the Clone Wars as well.
Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
character
So
in
it
the Clone Wars
might
TV
even
series.
tie into that because that series is coming back as well. So
Let me see.
It is canon though, like you say, it is canon. The story has been confirmed as being part of Star Wars canon, so
That's kind of cool. I'm down for that.
I'm down for it. Oh,
Um,
dude, I've missed a Star Wars game like this for a long time. It's been so long since we've had anything like this. I mean, I've had Battlegrounds, Battlefront, but you know that didn't really. They turned out to be a bit disappointing. Those games.
yeah,
So
we can only hope that E3 doesn't get its E3 EA doesn't get its EA all over it.
yeah.
Because yeah, EA. Did you hear about their controversial statement to Parliament in the UK?
Was this the whole thing around loot boxes and how they're
Yeah,
not bad? They're excitement boxes or whatever the fuck they call
they're,
them.
yeah, they're not loot boxes. They are surprise mechanics, and they're like
Yes.
Kinder eggs. Fuck off.
Get the
They're not
fuck
like
out.
Kinder eggs.
You ain't giving me fucking no Kinder
Nobody's
chocolate,
ever-
bitch.
Nobody's ever bought a Kinder egg and looked at the toy they got inside and gone, "Oh, I wanted the other shitty toy that was also not advertised, and you have no idea what the fuck is inside of them." Like, it's such a stupid goddamn comparison. And they've said, "Oh, and they're actually very ethical." Fuck you.
Get the
Fuck a
fuck
dick,
out.
EA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking Jesus Christ. Do you know what? How the fuck would you come up with a statement like that? Do you think people are fucking stupid? Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, I think when they in the interviewing process, they remove the last bit of any soul that remains in the person, and then once they begin work, the transition is seamless.
Oh, God. Fuck EA. So, what was the other game you mentioned?
Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. Fuck, of course. Yeah.
I am looking forward to hook-shotting myself into the chest of a monster demon and shotgunning it.
I'm
That
upset.
looks cool as fuck.
Oh, it's back! I'm so glad we do this podcast. Has this made me go on the game website and the special edition of the PC version with the Doom Guy helmet is back in stock. Oh God!
Sweet.
Did you see the helmet at the conference?
No.
Yeah, you can get a fucking real life fucking wearable Doomslayer helmet and it looks fucking legit.
Oh, for just £300.
It's $199.99 on game.co.uk.
Oh, sweet.
So that softens the blow slightly. But it looks fucking great. I can't wait. I love Doom 2016. I can't wait to be able to the verticality and the movement and stuff that they've introduced in this one.
Yes.
Just looks
incredible.
crazy good. Crazy good. I mean, you know, we don't even need to hold on to this long because, like, fucking, who's not excited for this? Like,
I don't know how to respond to that.
yeah, exactly. Siri doesn't know how to respond to that. So
Siri's completely lost in this.
Siri's like, I don't know what to do. Where
I
am
want
I?
a helmet.
I want a helmet. Where do I get one? I'm just a fucking inanimate object, but whatever. Yeah, no, I
So
need.
it's 200 quid, and that comes with the helmet.
It comes with all the things that we would
All the things.
ever possibly need.
So it's like what, an iron disc case or steel disc case, some kind of poster, a cassette tape,
Yeah.
a helmet, a wearable Doomslayer helmet. That's so fucking cool. A law book, which seems unnecessary. It's Doom. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, but that's real.
Nobody's really
What
needs
fucking lore is there?
Well, I think they seem to be injecting lore into it at this point. There seems to be some kind of angels getting involved. And
You've
stuff,
gone to
whereas
hell
before-
and you shot things in the face.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dumb story.
Absolutely
A
is.
base on Mars found some alien, what they thought were alien ruins, and it turned out to actually be a portal to hell. Cool.
Cool. I'll take it, please. I'll take two.
Yeah. Lore done. Shoot.
Lord done. Shoot. I approve of this. Oh God.
The only thing that bugs me about the new Doom is it is so visually dense that it looks really hard to make out what's going on. And I'm sure when you're in it, when you're actually playing it, and you get into it, then you kind of see past it, you see through it. But watching somebody else play it, I'm just thinking, Jesus fucking Christ, man!
Yeah,
I'm a
like
seizure. I
don't know what's going on exactly. There is so much going on. The thing that scares me is they're releasing a fucking Switch edition of this game. Like, okay.
I love that. I love that the Switch is getting everything. I love that Witcher 3 is coming out on Switch. I
Yeah.
might finally. The fact that it will be on Switch I may actually be able to complete it. Because my issue with The Witcher 3 was I was playing Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 at the same time, and the control scheme was opposing to it, and it's such a long game, and there's so much to see and do. Finding the opportunity to play it was the most difficult part of the game.
Yeah.
With it on Switch, I'm just like, cool, just gonna whip that out wherever I am. Fucking
play
hit
it.
up some quest.
You could be shitting. We said this last time. You could be shitting,
Yeah.
and you can play The Witcher.
Yep.
So yeah, no, it's cool to see that actually come to fruition and actually be announced. It looks like the PlayStation 2 edition of the game, but I'm cool with that. The fact that it even fucking works is, pretty much a miracle. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. Speaking of Switch games, just before we wrap up, did you see the trailer for Astral Chain?
No.
It's by the guys who did Bayonetta and stuff like that, and it looks fucking mad good. And basically, you have this weird, I'm gonna call it a ghost robot attached to you, that can like attack stuff, and it looks pretty insane. And people can't see your ghost robot, but you control it, and you can murder people with your ghost robot friend, and it looks fucking beautiful. And I think it's like a semi-open world action game. It's only on Switch. You can ride some weird robot fucking horse as well, and yeah, it just looks wild. You need to check it out. It's like I say, it's exclusive to Switch, and I am all the hype for it. I don't even know how to explain this game. It just looks fucking batshit, but in the best way. So, just give me an out.
I'm looking at the trailer now. It does indeed look batshit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy anime, cel shady fucking style, and yeah, it looks nuts. It looks absolutely nuts.
It looks cool. It looks like it's got third-person platformer kind of elements to it. A lot of puzzling, a
it's
lot
got
of
huge
combat.
boss battles and stuff by the looks of it. Mad, like over the top, like action, fucking like Devil May Cry style action, and yeah,
which is sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down for that. That looks really cool. Thanks for bringing my attention to it.
No problem. You need it. I don't think it's even that far away. I'm pretty sure it's out in August. So
oh, shit.
Yeah, so
Nice.
it's not far. So give us that. Link's Awakening obviously is getting a remake. Switch is doing all sorts of stuff. There is a load more to discuss. Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming. That looks fucking beautiful. We already kind of said that. Is there anything else you want to mention before we go?
I like the debate on Banjo-Kazooie. That was kind of funny.
Oh God, yes, that. But there is something major that we haven't even spoke about, and we probably should. This episode's going to go a little longer, but Project Scarlet, we haven't even spoke about it. Haven't even spoke about it.
Let's just run over the main points. Tech-wise, it sounds pretty cool. A console being able to do 120 FPS and 4K, potentially 5K.
8K.
Really? Oh shit. Okay.
Yes, 8K.
I'm never gonna buy an 8K television. I'm sorry. Fuck that.
They are super expensive. They are very, very new. All I'll say is the stuff that they were hyping, and this is the pessimist in me, but the stuff that they were hyping was all based around HDMI 2.1 and the fact that the console will support HDMI 2.1. So games at 120 Hz at 4K or 8K potentially.
Yeah.
Even though no one has an 8K TV apart from very, very rich people.
But I know like 2 people that even have 4K devices.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even 4K TVs are not a rarity. I mean, because if you go out and buy a TV these days, and you're spending £300 plus, say, on a television, you're going to get a 4K TV because they don't do HD TVs anymore. Everything's 4K. So they're becoming less and less of a rarity, but that doesn't mean people are necessarily upgrading. So the fact that we're not even playing games in 4K at 60 FPS yet, is the real head scratcher about this announcement, because it's like, okay, your games are going to become graphically more demanding, but you're going to tell me I'm going to have essentially 4 times the frame rate that I get on average in a game on an Xbox right now, and it's going to play at 2 times the max resolution that we already have. So where's the break point?
Yeah.
You know, Okay.
It just seems silly.
It does. But it's all
Well,
hype at the end of the day. It's just because the console can output that. At the end of the day, the option is there. So,
yeah.
we'll see what it holds. But
Can I just? I mean, this is a bit pedantic, but I just want to briefly mention how much I hate the branding of 4K. It's not 4K, it's 2K.
What?
720p.
Oh,
1080p,
okay. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
4K. So 1080p HD is 1920 by 1080.
Yes.
4K is when we talk about resolutions, we talk about the shortest resolution, the height of the screen.
Yep.
Whereas 4K is actually the width of the screen. That's how many pixels go along, the horizontal axis.
Mm-hmm.
It's only got like 2000 up the side. So they've just switched which number they use to make it sound more impressive.
Well, they use 4K, but the resolution of 4K is 3840 by 2160, which is literally 2 times HD.
Well, yeah, it's 4 times as many pixels.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just it's a bait. You know what I mean? They've switched the way they talk about resolution measurements.
Yeah.
To make it sound more impressive than it is.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been a thing in the industry for a while. There's like mentioning 2K. I mean it's or releasing like a 4K film on a disc. Like they're not necessarily like the actual native image of that film is probably 2K, which is I can't remember the exact number of pixels that it is, but it's not much higher than 1080p. So it's just a blown up version. It will stretch to 3840 by 2160, but the actual native image is not 3840 by 2160 because a lot of films, as you all know, are not even fucking rendered at that resolution. So, and it's the same with games though. A lot of games that we play in 4K, 3840 by 2160, they're not actually in 4K. Especially on like the PlayStation Pro, they're upscaled versions. There'll be lower resolutions that are blown up to fit a 3840 by 2160 pixel count. So the fact that that's what the point I was trying to get at with 8K is that we're not gonna get 8K games on the next consoles. There is not, unless there's been Microsoft have developed some obscene alien technology where they're jumping 5 or 6 years in the future, basically.
Yeah, but also, what's the point of an 8K game? At this point, we are getting into the redundancy kind of zone.
Yeah, I think the most important part of next gen, in terms of graphically, is ray tracing. That is obviously a big thing for.
Yes, absolutely.
For graphical advancements in games now is ray tracing. That's the big thing. Obviously, like Nvidia are trying to push it and stuff like that, and they're saying that the new Xbox will support ray tracing, and PS5 is saying that they will support ray tracing as well. So that's like a big advancement. But saying things are in 4K, 8K, stuff like that, it's like, okay, that's fine, but just make us good games. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Keep it at 4K for God's sake. Like, just leave it at 4K as a
last thing. Sorry.
Do it.
We've got to wrap this up, and I'm really excited about something that I've just remembered. Psychonauts 2 Sun.
Oh, fuck! Yeah, okay. Another game forgotten.
That looks great.
Looks wild. They were at the Microsoft conference. There was the Microsoft conference they were at, right? I'm not going nuts.
Yes. Microsoft have actually bought the studio. Tim Schafer came out.
Yes.
And did the presentation.
Yeah.
And we also missed talking about Ghostwire Tokyo. Who
had
a fantastic presenter who said,
I forgot.
Spooky.
I loved her. I haven't even spoke about
adorable.
her. It's because E3's kind of been, and I totally forgot my love for her. I don't remember what her name was. I'd look it up, but whoever it was, the little Japanese lady who spoke about Ghostwire Tokyo, I love you, and your game looks fantastic. So, give us that as well.
Looking forward to that. All right, should we put a pin in this?
We'll put a pin in it because E3 is thick. We spoke about the main things I think we both collectively care about the most from the conference.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think we've hit every note.
So I guess it's that time of the week again to tell everybody to fucking like and subscribe to all of our stuff. So find us on Facebook.com/AltDadPodcast. Find us on Twitter @AltDadPodcast. And then find us on Instagram @AltDadPod. That's all.
Instagram is where I post my really stupid drawings. So if you like stupid drawings, you should do that. That's the best one.
100% should do that. And they're not stupid, they're lovely. I love our artwork. It's fantastic. So everybody should do that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. If you're watching on Stitcher and stuff like that, make sure to follow us and everything like that. Or iTunes, you should I can't say subscribe. You should subscribe to us on iTunes and everything else that you can possibly subscribe to us on. This has been.
If we've missed anything, that you thought was really important at E3, or anything that you're super excited for, hit us up on these social medias. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We can dig into it. We can discuss it. We can tell you what we think about it. We can do all the stuff. So it's been lovely. So until next week or next time, because it's never weekly, and I fuck this up every time. We'll see you again.
Thanks for listening. Bye bye.